One of the first things that's really important to remember about climate change is the difference between weather and climate. So most of us confuse weather and climate, assuming that they mean the same thing. When we talk about weather, we're talking about what's happening outside on any given day in any given area. When we're talking about climate, we're talking about long-term average patterns. And so that's why it's really important for people to make note of the term climate change. And that's why that term gets confused quite often, and people don't really understand that it's the same thing as global warming. It means the same thing. When we're talking about climate change, we're talking about what's happening over hundreds of thousands of years. And climates are supposed to change. That's normal and natural. But they're supposed to change very slowly over hundreds and thousands of years, teeny tiny fractions. What we've been seeing in the last couple of hundred years is faster and faster and more intense change. And so that's where some of the problems and challenges with climate change are coming from. It's not the fact that the climate is changing, it's how quickly and how intensely it's changing. So when climate scientists want to find out what's been happening with climate over a long period of time, they look to nature. We can use things like tree rings. Most of us know if you count the rings of a tree, it will tell you how old the tree is. But not everybody knows that if you were to take a sample of those tree rings, you could also identify what's been happening with climate in the area where the tree lives. And so some trees will only grow for 10 or 12 years or 15 years. Other trees will grow for thousands and thousands of years. So it's not uncommon at all in certain parts of our country, our continent, and other parts of the world for a tree to grow for 1,000 years, 1,500 years, or even longer. And when we take that data and we look at it, that's when the red flags start to pop up. And that's when we see that what's normal climate change is no longer what's happening. Our climate is changing faster and more intensely than we have ever seen before. And so that's all caused by things that humans are doing. Because climate change is normal, it would always happen. It's supposed to happen. But it's happening as quickly and intensely as we're seeing it right now, directly related to things that humans, you and I and everybody else on the planet are doing.